just throwing up like pools of blood. You just see blood just gushing into the toilet. It's just a waste of money, and it's a waste of life. That's not a good way to live your life. I'm schizophrenic, but the things I saw were there. Man. Mike here, we're doing episode 13, Lucky 13, which is like, I feel very suiting for this episode because today I am going to start like cold turkey, just not drinking anymore. And I'm going to document what it's like. Work has slowed down. I started realizing that I've been drinking more than I want to. And it's coming to the point where I'm not happy with the results of my life right now because of how much I've been drinking. And I find myself, that's all I can think about now. And like not wanting to drink, or wanting to drink or having to drink. And it's like, it's all I can think about now. So I'm going to stop it cold turkey. And hopefully I don't have to go to the hospital. I don't think it's that bad. I honestly don't, because I've been in way worse situations with alcoholism, because I am an alcoholic. That's what I've always been. I've always been an alcoholic. I've done drugs, but I've always been an alcoholic. Last episode, I was talking about how if somebody's suffering, or you're suffering, reach out to somebody. So I've been reaching out to friends. I told a sober friend of mine that like I'm gonna stop today. Let's see how far I can take this. I'm gonna pledge that till my next episode, I'm not gonna have another drink until I do another episode. At least until then, I'm not gonna drink. Hopefully I don't do an episode for a while. Maybe I will. Maybe I need to document more of this. Who knows? Maybe somebody might get something out of this. Because I know a lot of people who are suffering from alcoholism. I have a family member who's suffering from alcoholism right now, and like you want to preach something, or you can't be. I don't believe in people being phony. But the one thing that I am not is a phony person. I'm pretty much see-through. Like I have autistic tendencies, because like one of the things I can't do is just not talk about myself. So I always talk about what I'm doing. I overshare about my life, but sometimes that might be. Who knows? That might be my savior. Honesty will set you free. And right now, I honestly can say that my intake of alcohol has gone to a point that I'm just not happy with. And let's just nip it at the bud. Let's just stop it where it needs to be stopped. Hopefully I don't need to go to the hospital for anxiety, but I'm already dreading the feelings of not having a drink, and the stomach and the sourness and everything. So like, if somebody else wants to share with me on this video who is also struggling with alcoholism, maybe they want to stop with me, you can use this as a starting off point. Me and my friend Eddie, we've always done films together, and we've been doing these episodes together since day one. It's becoming a lot cooler now to take care of yourself than it is to just be a wasteoid, and I don't want to be a wasteoid. Nobody wants to see that. And like, use me as an example of like when somebody is doing good things happen, and when somebody is not doing good, bad things happen. You can manifest so much reality. And like when I was living on the streets, God showed himself to me in a very, very powerful way. God showed himself to me. That's why I believe in Jesus Christ. People can believe in what they want, but people need to believe in something, and the Lord will save your ass. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk about the song The Pusher by Blind Melon. Listen to that song. It is a great song, and those lyrics, people sing things for a reason, and you need to, when you listen to music, you need to realize that these people are a lot wiser than you for a reason, that they were able to write a song about the situation that they just lived through. I analyze the shit out of music. I love music that feeds the soul, music that like really means something, like that actually has a message to it. Like music that's just like sexy, yeah, that's fun. Like I was talking about that band Wet Leg. They're a fun band, but would I if I was on a desert island, would I be stuck with that album? No, fuck no. And that's important about my records, because that's how I make my collection. My collection is like there's some that fell through the cracks, but I promised that we were gonna get into more of this stuff, like down more episodes. So we're gonna do that today. And like we just randomly go through some of this stuff. Like I have Tupac, and like some of this stuff like has a story behind it. Like this, I needed some Tupac. That's all. I'm not the biggest crazy fan of Tupac, but he is a really brilliant. He's a brilliant artist. I was at a record show, and it was the first time anybody invited me to a record show to sell. But I went with like a couple crates where people were there with like so many boxes of records, and I outsold everybody with just a few, with just a few records. So yeah, I bought this record because like I literally sold so many records, I forgot what I was doing, and I thought this was cool, so I paid for it. It was like way overpriced, and somebody was like, "Dude, you should have just traded me a record. I would have gave it to you." Found out like it was funny. I don't know if I talked about this, but I got a Sabrina Carpenter record, and I actually got it. I got an autographed copy of it. They had it at Amoeba. I really like Sabrina Carpenter. She puts me in a good mood. And that's the thing. My records, like they might not be your records, but they're my records, and I have them for a reason. I have this because I kept selling it, and then one time I was like, why don't I have a copy of Yellow Brick Road? Because I keep selling it, so I need to have one copy of it. And that's why. Now, many people have a print like this of the wall, but I got the wall original. I love music. Led Zeppelin 3. I have 2 copies of this. The pinwheel works. It's pretty cool. It has I forgot. I saw it on a documentary. It's one of the copies that actually have the engraving of Aleister Crowley, the guy who like sends messages through music. It's actually engraved with one of his quotes or something like that. It's pretty interesting stuff. And then you got to have the Stooges in your collection. This is like a perfect copy of a $1 Billion Baby, and like I found it. It's literally the holes haven't been punched out. It has the freaking $1 billion in there. That's pretty cool. I got this record because, of course, my dad would his hero was Alice Cooper. And one of my heroes is Alice Cooper. I think Alice Cooper is the coolest. So, when I started this collection, my brother had just passed away. He had just passed away. And it was so painful. I didn't know what I was going to do. I lived through something that, only brought by my own stupidity and my own luck that I created for myself. I have lived through a crazy, crazy hard life where I've lived on the streets. I've gotten sober off really hard methamphetamines. I was smoking meth nonstop because it was the only thing that that would just make it a little bit just bearable that my brother drank himself away. His alcoholism and everything just took over, where the point where he was getting mad at me because I was living life, and he couldn't live life because his alcoholism was that bad. I'm getting to the point where I don't know what to do with these episodes except for just try to be as creative as possible. And I think this right now would be the most creative thing to do. Anybody can do this and document what they're going through. And, this stuff like this might help because you get people like these TikTok influencers and stuff like that. People who are just they're babbling about nonsense. Random influencers that they don't know what they're talking about. And I always like to see what are people's motives. What is somebody's motives when they're giving a message or they're giving music? Are their motives sincere or are they not? Music and sobriety, I think it's a good combination. You guys let me know. I want to hear comments. Nobody ever comments on my videos. And I'm sharing a lot about myself. I hope it's people are getting something out of it because the story I shared is just, life happens. I'm sure families are complicated. I have my friend Anthony. He's I haven't seen him in so long, but he was able to come to my house when he was all spun out and he needed a place to hang out and just calm down for a minute because he was getting so paranoid. But and when I was living on the streets, I owe him because when I was living on the streets, I saw him in his car and he let me hang out there. How am I gonna, just because somebody's on drugs and they come to me, because this happens to me all the time. A lot of drug addicts I know, they come to my house because they know that this is a safe place where they can shower, they can kick it, and nobody fucks with me because I literally am from this hood. I'm from San Pedro. I mean I've done some stupid shit, but I have a very clean name in this town, and I have never done anybody wrong on purpose. I've done some dumb shit, but I've never done some conniving shit to people. My slate is clean. I've owed people money. I've paid them back. I've owed people favors. I've paid them back, but I've never done anybody wrong. So the bet was that my brother, and this is when I found out my brother was really an alcoholic. I knew it and I accepted it, and I kind of knew it was going to be his demise because my dad's motorcycle at the time looked really cool. Right now it doesn't look too cool, but I'm going to keep it because I know if I have a son, I'm gonna ride it again. But right now I'm the only man in my family, so I cannot ride my motorcycle, because if I die, then there's nobody here. And I can't leave my mom alone. When I talk about myself a little bit in these shows, it'll be kind of like a documentary, because especially since I'm getting sober again, because now I have to get sober again. And since my work slowed down, I started picking up the beer cans again. I'm getting up to two tall cans every day now, and I'm like, because I don't have work. And now it's just getting to the point every day I'm getting 2 tall cans. It's just a waste of money, and it's a waste of life. That's not a good way to live your life. And I'm not gonna preach something like on my show and then not do it. So I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna document what it feels like to go sober. I already feel better now. It's been about 6 hours since my last drink, maybe a little less or more. And I'm dreading the feeling of there's a nauseous you get when you haven't drink when you're used to drinking that much and you have a pattern, even if it's not even a lot. And that's the thing too. You think, oh, it's just 2 tall cans a day. I've had way worse. I was living at the point where I was drinking a fifth of Jack Daniels every day and some more. I would wake up at 6 a.m. or 5:45 to get to Ralph's at 6 a.m. just to buy more alcohol. My brother was literally drinking himself to death, and I didn't want him to drink himself to death by himself. Even though we were drinking alone together, at least we were drinking together, because we had a really, really complicated relationship. Man, I hope people get something out of this, because it's really, this is private stuff. But I figured since my brother's dead, it doesn't really matter anymore. When I grew up in high school, it was okay to call people faggot. I was called a faggot all the time by bullies, and pushed against the wall because I played the piano. It was ruthless. I got picked on, so I picked on my brother, I picked on my cousins, I picked on all my younger siblings to give them a taste of how bad it could get. Because I like picking on people too. So fuck my brother, fuck my little cousin. I do older brother shit, and I have to pay the consequences for it, because my cousins, they love me, but they don't love me as much as they should, because they don't like me that much, because I was a dick. I have a very cool family, because they're being very forgiving of me, and they let me come back in after I've completely disobeyed their trust. I never stole from them, but I completely started smoking meth. I just started doing it like it was just nothing. I don't know what happened, except for that my brother died, and I was so upset that I just started smoking meth. I just picked it up. It was just it was so fucking easy, and it's all over this town, and that's the worst part. It's so easy, especially in San Pedro. You literally could just walk the street, you just see some guy you could just tell right away, oh, that guy's on meth. At least I could, because you could just you just smell it. You could just no, you can't really smell it, but you could just you could just sense it. You could just tell when that somebody's just not right. I don't know how I got into it. I literally do not know. I just remember one time a friend of mine gave me some, and he was like, "You'll be able to party all night, and you'll feel better, and you'll have more confidence." So I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" My friends just stopped hanging out with me. I had this friend who I just cannot. I literally erased him from my life, because he backstabbed me. Back to the motorcycle. The bet was I wasn't gonna drink. I won't finish the story now. I wasn't gonna drink for 3 months, and my dad was gonna give me the motorcycle if I didn't drink for 3 months. My dad always taught me in life, and I shared this with him at a therapy session one time, because I admitted to it, because I cheated on the bet. But I was always going to cheat on the bet, and my dad knew that. That's the thing, my dad knew I was going to cheat on the bet. And that was the whole point, because he was like, if you're going to cheat, lie, or steal, do it, but don't tell anybody. Lessons in life, right? And the amount of time I got sober, this is the first time I ever got sober. And this is during the bet. So this was towards the end of the bet. I almost had 3 months sober, and I had already drank once, because I was going to drink once by myself. I was literally going to, because that was the whole thing. You gotta cheat, but don't let anybody know about it. So of course I was gonna cheat. I went to go have a beer at the fucking coast after I had 2.5 months sober. I went and I had a beer at the coast. I lived my life, and I continued to not drink. I did not drink the rest of the time for the 3 months, except for this one time where my friend kept hounding me to take a drink with him, that I deserved to have a drink with him, because I have accomplished the 3 months of sobriety, the bet with my dad. And he's like, don't worry, I'm not going to tell a soul. I knew that moment when he told me that he wasn't going to tell a soul, he was going to tell everybody. So I drank with him anyways, just to test it. Because it was just at the end of the day, I thought he was such a good friend that I literally would have gave the motorcycle away if it meant saving my friend's life, because I liked him that much. He was my buddy. But the way he just asked me to like drink with him when he knew I was doing so well, and he wanted to see me lie to my dad. I got my motorcycle because I earned it, and the thing was, I did earn it. And I told my dad, like, he's like, and I asked him because when later on I told him, I cheated on the thing. I told everybody except for we didn't tell you. And he's like, are you serious? And that's the thing. My brother is so amazing. So my friend goes and tells my brother, and tells my friend that I cheated on the bet for the motorcycle, and my brother never said anything to my dad because they were like, what the fuck? Fuck it. That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't know. Edit it out. That was him. This is my life. This is my documentary. Dude, come on. And he just said, like, that was enough of me and that I was an alcoholic, which was true, but it didn't change the fact that he kept doing this to his friends. And this is a life lesson I will teach you. If you're ever going to lie or do something that you're not supposed to do, don't tell anybody, not even your best friend, because it will come out to bite you in the ass. If you're gonna do something and you don't want to get caught, don't tell anybody. My brother was master at this shit. He would pull off the craziest pranks and not tell anybody, but he would tell me. Life is so fucking crazy. Like, I really like when somebody close to you, like my brother, like when he died, yeah, I started smoking meth. Just because it was the only way I could just stop thinking about the way he passed away. He passed away in pain, and this is seriously alcoholism talk. Like, dude, if you do not stop drinking, you have a problem with drinking and you cannot stop, I'm telling you what the end looks like is so bad, and the pain is so tragic. And I kept telling him too, I told him, like, if you watch the movie Leaving Las Vegas, watch that movie Leaving Las Vegas if you're an alcoholic, because that's your fate. It is something so bad and so unhealthy and so scary, and the feeling is just so insanely painful. And I lived it. I literally have a scar to prove it. I have a scar to prove it. This is what you get. This is what you get. And it was so bad. Like, it was like open like this. It just looked like somebody threw spaghetti on my stomach. It was like a just gaping, gashing wound because some doctors had to like literally cut me open, take apart all my intestines because I had so many holes in it from drinking so much whiskey, and holes in my esophagus, which I smoke, which is only like the only proof that God exists, because you're going to die when you're going to die. This is why I'm never going to stop smoking. My niece knows it and she cries over it, and it sucks that like she really worries about me. Like my family worries about me like you have no idea. My niece the other day watched a documentary about Walt Disney and how Walt Disney died from lung cancer because he smoked too much. So she started crying because she was like, my Uncle Mikey's going to die from lung cancer and I don't want him to die. I don't know what to tell my niece except for I just can't quit smoking. I quit drinking. I quit smoking meth. Yeah, I've done every drug you can think of except for heroin. I've done heroin once, but I didn't like it. It just made me sick to my stomach. I've done fentanyl a couple times, but not by choice. I've tested positive for fentanyl several times. I don't know how I survived it, but like, except for that God exists. And one time I was living on the street and God like showed himself to me so tremendously powerful. Like that, like it didn't prove to me that Jesus existed, but it proved to me that God existed because it was so powerful that it scared the shit out of me. And then like I immediately knew after being scared shitless that I was going to be okay. And I knew I was going to be okay for a really long time because God showed himself to me and I knew he had my back, even though I wasn't ready to get sober yet. But I eventually did get sober. And that stuck with me. If God has ever spoken to you and you think you saw something, or you think something happened, but you were just like, it was just so crazy that like you just kind of dismiss it as like maybe one of those things that's just like I dreamt it or whatever. Sometimes these things happen to you. And I, as God is my witness, I was touched by God. It was so fucking powerful. So powerful. And few people are that lucky. I got lucky. I wish my brother was that lucky. I think he did get lucky though, because one time we gave him mushrooms, and I think he saw God, but he didn't want to tell me, because I saw God when I did mushrooms once myself. Mushrooms are a very, very, very powerful and positive way to get over alcoholism. I'm not going to do it this time because I said I was going to do it cold turkey, but I'm telling you, mushrooms, they help. They help in so many ways. They give it to people in Japan and China for people who have like tremendous PTSD. I think it's good to share this stuff because I think people might get like something out of it, because a lot of people share, like a lot of people have this stuff in common. Like we've we've lived through something so fucking crazy that like we're not the same anymore. And like my hand shakes, and like I'm on all types of medications because like I literally was like I'm schizophrenic. I know that, but I saw things that were there and things that were so real that like you can't discount it. And like I think people who are on the spectrum and people who are maybe schizophrenic, just because you're schizophrenic and the doctors are telling you that you're crazy and the doctors are telling you that you're seeing things that are not there, don't always believe that. There's a reason why you're seeing things. Maybe you are schizophrenic, or maybe you are seeing things that are not there, but maybe you are. Maybe the things that you're seeing are warning you. And maybe I'm getting a little too deep, but schizophrenia, you know, my mom doesn't want to admit that I'm schizophrenic. If you ask her, she's like, if I'm schizophrenic, she's like, no. But like, I was seeing things that were not like, well, if they weren't there, then if I'm not schizophrenic, then what was there in my backyard, the angels and the demons that I actually saw in my backyard, if I'm not schizophrenic, then they were there. So explain to me that. And I know people who have schizophrenia know what I'm talking about because they have family members that try to deny the stuff that you see. My niece, she already knows. Like I'm kind of like I have a little bit of psychicness because I'm schizophrenic. I see things that are not there but are there. I've seen it. I've seen like I could kind of like I've almost been like psychic, and in so many ways I've predicted so many things, and like my family gets scared when I predict bad things are gonna happen because I've been so dead on right when I say things are gonna happen. I knew my cousin was gonna get in a bicycle accident. I knew it was gonna happen exactly the way I said it, and when it happened, my family freaked. They're like, Mikey, you were so right. Like, dude, this is like weird. Because I know, like, I get these visions, I get these signs, I know I'm gonna be okay because I stopped drinking today. Remember that. You can always be okay, especially when it comes to being like an addict or a drug addict or an alcoholic. You can always be okay the next day if you just stop. You always have that choice to just put an end to it. Like I'm gonna document like how hard it is. Hopefully it's not that hard for me. I hope it's just a breeze. But I have a feeling it's gonna be a little difficult because I got used to having that crutch is just that bottle. You know everything's gonna be okay because you just like it just takes the pain away a little bit, and you're just able to just deal with this bullshit that happens. My friend John Nutman, he's dead now. He overdosed on fentanyl. He brought a pipe bomb to our high school and like didn't succeed at exploding it. I guess some kids were pissing him off or whatever, so he wanted just like to piss some people off. He didn't want to hurt anybody, but he brought a potato launcher to school. It was supposed to make a very loud noise. The bomb squad came, all these people came, but we didn't get any payoff. Like nothing exploded, and everybody was so butthurt because like John Nutman was like, it's a potato launcher. Stop calling the bomb squad. Like it was just like a little bit of lighter fluid would pop out and it just like it would launch a potato. The police were called, the bomb squad called. Everybody came, took this potato launcher or whatever, this like pipe bomb or whatever it was, but it wasn't what it was. It wasn't like anything really dangerous. I mean, it was, but it wasn't like to call the bomb squad over. They took him and it kind of ruined his life. He had to go to like court and he had to go to jail and he had to do all this stuff, and it like labeled him as this crazy person. For the longest time, people just associated him with the person who would try to blow up the school. Well, the next day after that happened, I actually lit off an M80 at the school. It was so fucking loud. It wasn't an M80, it was a seal control that my dad had, but he taught me how to do these. I never got caught because that's the thing. If you're gonna do something, don't actually say anything until it's like way too late, and then nobody can actually get you in trouble for it. But I actually had like a little piece of like explosive, and I lit it off in the school, and it fucking was loud as fuck, and everybody was like, "What the hell was that?" Okay, well, it was the next day. It was like literally the day after the bomb squad was called. I was like, fuck this fool. I'm gonna do what he wanted to do. And I just like I lit it up. I put a you can't do it with American spirits. But if you get like, let's just say this is the fuse of a firecracker. and you want to get away with lighting it. You light up a cigarette. Don't do it with American Spirits because American Spirits don't have any chemicals in it and they will not light. It won't light all the way. But you stick the fuse in the middle of the cigarette, light the cigarette, and walk away, and the cigarette will just continue burning until it finally hits the fuse, and then you're like, what, 10 minutes walked away? Anyways, John Nutman, I miss you, and I did that for you because you were the homie. So you might not know like what people are going through. I have this like friend of my brother who passed away. This friend of his, like me and her sister live across the street from each other. So one time I was puking my guts out because like that's just what I do because I drank so much in the past that like I used to just throw up all the time because it would just make me feel better. This girl just like, I remember this, like you cannot, it was just one of the worst fights me and my brother had. And so like she decided to get involved in my life and call my brother and let her know that I'm puking in my front yard and that it's embarrassing for the neighborhood just to cause a rift between me and my brother. And that's why this girl doesn't like me because I literally went up to her front yard and I was like, what is your problem? Why would you do that to somebody? Like, why don't you mind your own business? If there's something going on between family, always stay out of it. Unless you see a gun or you see somebody who's actually in harm, stay out of it. Because I'm Mexican and I'm telling you right now, like, Mexican families get to the point where they want to strangle each other, but they just don't. And me and my brother, we were like that all the fucking time. We kicked the shit out of each other. And like the last time we were together, the police were called. Because my brother just attacked me out of nowhere. And if you know my brother, he doesn't stop until something bad really happens. So I had to just stop him. I just stopped him. And it was really embarrassing too because he was so light. He was so light. It was like literally fighting an old man. And I grabbed him, I pinned him down, I had him on the floor. And he started like, because I had to call 911 because my brother literally is so crazy that he will like stab himself. He will do something stupid when he gets that angry. He will do something stupid. Me, I stopped myself. Like a couple months ago, my uncle was here. One of the reasons my brother is dead is because my uncle just let him die. He didn't call the ambulance. We were the only ones he was in Mexico. My brother was staying in Mexico. One of the only people who could call an ambulance was my uncle. He just decided that my brother's tantrums and my brother's fiascos were just enough for the family. So he just went ahead and was just like, let him just die. And he died. So yeah, like, you know, families are complicated. I don't like that guy enough, but I was trying to make an effort. For my mom's sake to just like swallow this guy's visit for a while. He was trying to stay at our house. So I was like, okay, yeah, the guy who like let my brother pass away, he just like wanted to, you know, just come to my house and just chill, kick it in my brother's room and like act like nothing happened. So I invite my uncle to go have breakfast with me. I don't know what he's thinking, but like he just decided that his steak was enough for him and that I would be so grateful if he just threw his steak on my fucking plate. And he just like, yeah, he just grabbed it. Like, yeah, I'm like, it sounded like my friend who's filming this sounds like this kind of bizarre story. But yeah, my uncle like grabbed his steak with his fork and knife and just threw it on my plate without my permission. It was like, Merry Christmas. Here's my leftovers. I know you want it. I was like, dude, I like literally was like, I was so infuriated. Like I literally just ate my part of the steak and just flicked his aside and just prayed that I didn't kick the shit out of this guy right now. But that's me. I think things through because sometimes like my brother, he would kick the shit out of this guy. Like that's my brother. My brother like that, and that's the thing I love about my brother. I miss him. My uncle was like, we just had like he literally was like, we just had enough of him. Let's just let him die. So I don't blame him for letting him die, but like, I mean, I kind of, yeah, I blame him for letting him die. I was like, you invite your nephew to come stay at your house to get better, and then you decide that his antics are too much, that he has to stay at his grandma's house and just lock him in there and just like lock him in there and he has to be by himself and just drink himself until he passes away. And then like my uncle just let it happen. So yeah, I kind of blame him for it. It's hard not to. It is really hard not to. And I never liked the guy from the beginning. He's an alcoholic and he used to give me so much shit for being an alcoholic and embarrass me about it. This record collection really, really helped me like Cause like, yeah, I lived a lot. I had a life with my brother. Like, so I got obsessed with records. So instead of having to think about like what happened to him, because I wouldn't say the last 5 years, I would say the last 4 years, maybe 3.5 years of his life, it just seemed like it took forever because it was like literally a decision to kill himself. My grandfather drank himself to death at 44. My dad was an alcoholic, but in his own way, he had control over it. Alcohol never ruined my dad's life because he had so much experience with it ruining other people's lives. So like if you're gonna ask me like what is my favorite record, I don't have a favorite record, but I can tell you is my Rolling Stones collection is my favorite thing of my whole collection, because I have pretty much, until it got lame, every major release that the Rolling Stones ever did, and I have some bootlegs from the actual record label themselves, and like I have it all. I have every, like, it's not chronological because I mix them up, but I have all of them. I was perusing Craigslist for records, and I met this man who needed to pay his car payment. So he sold me his entire Rolling Stones collection, and he was in the fan club since like the beginning of their career. So he got like every release and every like secret record that came out, and he sold it to me. He just like sold it to me for a flat rate. I was like, fuck yeah! I was like, and now I own it. So like, that's probably my favorite thing I have in my record collection. As an addict, as an alcoholic, sometimes your first time in rehab isn't your last time, and sometimes your last time in rehab isn't your last time. If you have to go, you have to go. That's why I'm stopping this now, because I don't want to go to rehab. I don't want to lose my job. I like the way my life is going, and I don't want to lose that stuff. Like right now, like little things are just fucking up my life. Like my lava lamp is not working, and it's just like things are just not clicking, and I know what it is. Things aren't clicking because I'm putting poison in my body. When you're drinking, you're putting poison in your body, you're putting a drug in your body. Alcohol is one of the worst drugs on the planet. I think it's harder to quit than meth, because you could literally go to any liquor store or any 7-Eleven and just buy a tall can, and it's just totally fine. You can buy a tall can at 6 in the morning and nobody says you anything. You're just a grown ass person who goes to the store at 6 in the morning and say, I want a fucking tall can. Who does that? I do. Not many people can say at 6 in the morning they go and buy a tall can. Have a beer in the morning with breakfast tacos, that's fun. But when you make up and you want to have a beer every morning, you're an alcoholic. If you're drinking and you're trying to hide it, you're an alcoholic. If you are drinking and you feel guilty about it, you're an alcoholic. If you're drinking and you don't want to drink, then you're an alcoholic. There's a lot of signs that you're an alcoholic. And you got to pick up on these signs before it's too late. Because like I have a family member, I swear to God, he is getting so bad, and he's getting to the point where it's becoming too late for him. If he does not stop drinking, and he's just going to start declining, and it's going to be, basically it's going to be too late. And I saw it with my brother. My brother drank to the point where it got too late, and his life was so sad that might as well just drink himself to death. And I got that, like I got it, but it was just so hard to watch. It was so hard to watch and live through and just deal with somebody who is drinking their mind away. When you drink that much, you start to think, you start to hallucinate, you start to think things that are not there. You start like acting differently. And then my brother literally, like, one thing about being alcoholic is when you see it like progress in somebody, they get to the point where they start acting like a child. They lose that, like they lose something in themselves. Yeah, I got this family member. He's like, it's like literally, let's just walk him here. Let's walk him. Let's watch him. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy that my family has. Like, let's just watch him. Let's just make sure he's not at home getting wasted. No doubt in my life that I wasn't gonna hit my 30s. I don't know how I hit my 30s, and I have no idea how I hit my 40s. My friends can attest to that. I don't think my friends thought I was gonna make it to 40. Did you think I was gonna make it to 40, Eddie? I made a miracle happen. My mom made a miracle happen. Like when I got my surgery, oh my God. Me and my brother were like so close to both of us to dying at the same time, but I had no idea. But I was going through these pains, but like I knew, but I was in so much denial because I was throwing up pools of blood every day. And I still would not stop drinking. That's how mad it is. That's how mad it is. And you think like, well, like if somebody's throwing up blood, you would stop drinking, but I didn't. I know I shouldn't, but I have a lot of like resentments. Like, it's hard not to hold resentment when life happens. People do fucked up shit to each other. And like my friend, it was like, he really did fucked up shit to, he did a number on my family. He got my family to really think that I was a bad guy. And like, I did not like that about him. And that's one of the things I just like, I think about now. I'm like, why was I friends with this person for so long? A lot of my friends cut ties with me, and I don't blame them. I was drinking all the fucking time. I said shit off the wall shit because I was drunk all the time. I remember one time, I've done this several times too. I'm notorious for pissing on shit. I get drunk and I literally think your TV is a toilet and I'll just piss on it. Like, I don't know what the fuck, like who does that? Like, except for an alcoholic. And I lost friends over that. Like, I've definitely lost friends over that. Like, because I've done that several times where I just like pissed on something, or I pissed my bed, or I pissed myself sleeping on somebody's couch. Like, that's just, if you've done that, you're not alone. People do shit like that. You're not alone. If you got something out of this, please let me know. Comment. You know, you're dealing with drug addiction, alcoholism, you needed somebody to talk to, DM me because I will talk to you. Let's communicate with each other. Let's grab each other. Let's support each other, especially your friends, people you care about, because you don't want to lose your brother and say you didn't do anything. I have a lot of resentments towards a lot of people. It's not cool. How am I supposed to get mad because you weren't there for my brother who was dying? Like, I mean, I guess that's selfish. I mean, even though my brother would let you stay at our house all the time and let you crash and eat our food on that's the thing that like my friends would know about me too, is like I would throw the wildest parties. They were all having fun until it just stopped being fun, and then my friends didn't want to be my friends anymore because it stopped being fun. You know, that song Jumper by Third Eye Blind, they talk about that. Like, it's good to sometimes just cut ties with people. Let's support each other, but like, know where your limitations are. Because I actually had to cut ties with another friend of mine too, and this girl I've been talking to, because we just drinking together, and that's just not good. You are the company you keep, and yeah, all right, peace out.
Let's ruin our lives.